Welcome to Macro Money Talk, where we dissect the hidden economics behind the most private decisions of the world's wealthiest elite. While poverty often drives couples apart through stress and violence, the super rich face a completely different set of complex relationship destroyers. We assume that having unlimited resources solves all marital problems. Yet the divorce rate among the ultra-wealthy remains surprisingly consistent. Today we uncover the 7 specific reasons why billionaires end their marriages, ranging from emotional disconnect to calculated financial tax strategies. The first major catalyst involves the complex dynamics of transactional marriages, where financial expectations often outweigh genuine emotional connection and love.
It's the latest model.
Many enter these unions with a clear unspoken agreement. One provides the lifestyle, while the other provides youth, beauty, or status. Problems arise when the lavish lifestyle stops growing at the expected rate, causing the dependent partner to feel a contract breach. When the initial excitement of wealth fades, the transactional nature of the relationship becomes a glaring and painful daily reality. Sometimes the marriage ends simply because the poorer partner has finally achieved their financial security or secured a permanent residency visa. Once the specific goal is met, the motivation to tolerate a loveless marriage evaporates, leading to a swift and cold exit. This brings us to the second major cause, the relentless and unforgiving schedule that comes with maintaining a massive business empire. Super wealthy individuals often spend more than 200 days a year traveling for business, leaving very little time for home. The spouse left behind lives in a golden cage, surrounded by luxury, but completely starved of companionship and emotional intimacy. Over time, the lack of shared experiences means they stop building memories together, effectively becoming strangers living under the same roof. Without the glue of shared time and memories, the foundation of the marriage crumbles under the weight of their separate lives. Digital communication cannot replace physical presence, and the emotional distance eventually becomes too vast to bridge with just money alone. The third reason is a paradox of wealth, extreme privacy, and the ability to live completely separate lives within one marriage. Wealth buys space, but too much space allows couples to retreat into their own private sanctuaries instead of resolving conflicts. They develop entirely different social circles and daily routines, transforming their relationship into nothing more than a glorified roommate arrangement. With staff handling every domestic detail, there is no need for the couple to collaborate on daily tasks or decisions. This drift happens slowly and silently, until one day they look up and realize they no longer know the person opposite. Reason number 4 delves into psychology, financial disagreements, and the fragile identity crisis that often plagues the creators of massive wealth. For the super rich, Money is not just currency. It is a scorecard that defines their entire self-worth and personal value. When the economy takes a downturn, the empire builder often suffers a narcissistic injury, taking out their frustration on their spouse. The spouse becomes a convenient target for their anger, leading to a toxic environment that destroys the emotional safety of home. This identity crisis reveals that the marriage was often supported by the success of the business, not the strength of connection. Financial stress exposes cracks in the relationship foundation that were previously covered up by the abundance of money and good times. We now move to a very common phenomenon, the midlife model upgrade, often referred to in the media as grey divorce. After spending their youth building an empire, many billionaires feel a sudden urge to reclaim the lost years of their youth. They erroneously believe that marrying a younger partner will validate their vitality and make them feel young and powerful again. This is often a transaction where the man buys youth and admiration, while the new partner secures a luxurious future. However, these new relationships often face their own set of challenges, as the generational gap creates different cultural and life expectations. Meanwhile, the discarded partner often finds a new sense of freedom and identity, no longer living in the shadow of ego. The sixth reason is perhaps the most cold and calculating, viewing the marriage itself as an asset with a specific ROI. Super rich individuals are conditioned to evaluate every aspect of their lives through the lens of investment, risk, and potential return. If the emotional or social return on the marriage becomes negative, they are quick to cut their losses like a bad stock. They apply business logic to human relationships, failing to understand that commitment requires weathering the storms, not just enjoying the sunshine. This ruthless pragmatism allows them to detach emotionally and execute a divorce with the same precision as a corporate merger.
Cheers.
Finally, we must discuss a secret strategy often whispered in elite circles: the strategic divorce designed specifically for tax avoidance purposes. Before a major liquidity event like an IPO, couples may divorce to split assets and take advantage of lower individual tax brackets. In these rare cases, the divorce is not an end to the relationship, but a calculated maneuver to preserve the family wealth. It proves that for the ultra-wealthy, money dictates not just how they live, but also the legal status of their love. From transactional beginnings to tax-evading endings, the marriages of the super-rich are fraught with unique perils unknown to the average person. It serves as a stark reminder that while money can buy comfort and luxury, it cannot purchase loyalty, understanding, or genuine connection. True partnership requires time, vulnerability, and presence. Three things that are often the first casualties in the relentless pursuit of billions. Thank you for watching this episode of Macro Money Talk. If you enjoyed this analysis, please subscribe and share your thoughts below. Let us look deeper into the psychological toll. The accumulation of material goods often acts as a temporary bandage for emotional wounds. Behind the designer sunglasses and private chauffeurs there is often a profound sense of isolation that is difficult for others to understand. Even the perpetrators of the divorce often feel a deep sense of regret, realizing too late that they sacrificed their happiness. The seeds of divorce are often sown at the very beginning, buried deep within the harsh clauses of ironclad prenuptial agreements. When a union starts as a merger of assets rather than a union of souls, it lacks the resilience to survive. The children of these marriages often become collateral damage, inheriting the wealth, but also the dysfunctional relationship patterns of their parents. This cycle of emotional neglect often repeats itself, creating a generational curse that is very difficult to break with money alone. In their world, vulnerability is seen as a weakness, so they hide their marital struggles until the papers are finally served. Therapists who specialize in the ultra-wealthy often report that these clients feel trapped by the very lifestyle that others envy. The pursuit of more money, more power, more excitement becomes an addiction that makes the stability of marriage feel boring. Research shows that middle-income couples who cook and eat together report higher satisfaction levels than those who dine in silence. Often the non-working spouse seeks purpose in philanthropy, creating yet another separate world that the working spouse does not understand. Parenting styles often diverge sharply, with one parent wanting to instill grit and the other wanting to provide effortless comfort. Public scrutiny adds another layer of stress. They cannot simply have a bad day without it becoming a headline story. Social media amplifies insecurities, as the public often judges their relationship based on snippets, adding pressure to maintain a perfect image. Even within their own home, the presence of staff means they are always being watched, inhibiting genuine and spontaneous emotional expression. Work becomes a refuge from the emotional demands of home, creating a vicious cycle where distance begets even more distance. The inability to disconnect and be present is a modern plague, but it affects the wealthy with higher intensity and consequences. When they finally do carve out time for a date night, the silence is deafening, because they have grown apart. Ironically, many of these couples were happiest when they were struggling together, united by a common enemy and a shared dream. Success removed the external struggle, turning their attention inward where they found they lacked the tools to navigate peace and comfort. The logistics of separating two massive lives are daunting, often keeping unhappy couples together, simply to avoid the administrative nightmare. When divorce finally proceeds, it becomes a battle of legal teams, further dehumanizing the process and escalating the conflict unnecessarily. Assets that were once gifts of love are converted into liquidity, stripping them of sentimental value and reducing them to numbers. Alimony and settlements are viewed as the final invoice for the relationship, a price paid for freedom and future autonomy. Post-divorce, many find that the loss of status is a small price to pay for the rediscovery of their authentic self. Conversely, the freedom sought by the leaver often turns into loneliness, as casual encounters fail to replace deep, long-term intimacy. Statistics clearly indicate that extreme wealth is not a buffer against divorce. In fact, it often acts as an accelerant. The monetization of every aspect of life eventually corrodes the non-monetary values that are essential for sustaining a human relationship. For the next generation of wealth, the challenge is to build trust in a world where everyone has a price tag. Experts advise that wealthy couples must intentionally create money-free zones in their marriage to preserve their connection and humanity. Reconnecting often requires stripping away the layers of luxury to find the raw, unpolished, human connection that lies underneath. Ultimately, time is the only resource that cannot be bought, and how it is spent determines the longevity of love. Making the conscious choice to prioritize family over the next $1 million is the only way to safeguard the marriage. A strong marriage requires a partner who is a teammate in crisis, not just a passenger enjoying the smooth ride. Shared goals that go beyond financial accumulation are critical for keeping the couple aligned as they navigate life's challenges. Rebuilding a strained marriage is possible, but it requires the same dedication and strategy that they apply to their businesses. As the sun sets on our analysis, we are left with a complex picture of love in the time of capitalism. From the transactional start to the tax strategic end, the 7 reasons we discussed reveal the fragility of high net worth unions. For many, the cost of their empire is their relationship, a trade-off they may not fully understand until it is too late. Reflection is key, and perhaps the next generation can learn from these patterns to build more sustainable and authentic relationships. The wheels of the economy keep turning, and new fortunes will be made. But the quest for true love remains constant. Happiness is often found in the simple moments that money cannot enhance. A lesson that is expensive to learn. It is never too late to repair bridges, provided that both parties are willing to trade their ego for empathy.
It's like looking at
The greatest
mountains made of
legacy a
glass.
wealthy couple can leave is not their trust fund, but the example of a loving, resilient marriage. Navigating the heights of success requires a grounded partner to keep one from flying too close to the sun. When money is treated as a shared tool rather than a wedge, it can support the marriage rather than destroy it. Sometimes downsizing the lifestyle is the secret to upsizing the relationship quality, removing distractions to
I don't
focus
mind the
on
rain
what
so much
matters.
when I'm with you.
Disconnection from the digital world
neither.
allows for
We'll get through
reconnection in the
anything
real
together.
world, a vital practice for maintaining intimacy. Enduring discomfort together builds a bond that luxury and comfort can never replicate, forging a truly unbreakable union. The simple act of being heard and validated is worth more than any diamond necklace or luxury vacation could ever be. Acts of service that require personal effort speak louder than those that are simply outsourced to paid household staff. Creating a sanctuary of peace within the home is the ultimate defense against the pressures of the outside world. If the money disappeared tomorrow, would the marriage survive? That is the ultimate test of a relationship's true value. Respect is the currency of a good marriage, and unlike money, it cannot be printed. It must be earned daily. Just like a garden, a marriage requires constant tending, watering, and care to flourish. Regardless of how rich the soil is, resilience is built through overcoming challenges, not avoiding them. And the strongest couples are those who have survived the storm. Security comes from knowing your partner has your back, not from the balance in your bank account. We must remember that we are just small parts of a larger world, and our connections are what give life meaning. Love, trust, and time are the three pillars that no amount of wealth can replace or repair once broken. We hope this deep dive has provided you with a new perspective on the hidden costs of ultra-wealthy lifestyles. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing wealthy couples? Share your insights and opinions in the comments section. If you found this video insightful, you might also enjoy our breakdown of the cost of raising a billionaire child. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode of our financial analysis. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us today. We appreciate your support and look forward to seeing you again. Till next time, keep your investments smart and your relationships even smarter. This is Macro Money Talk, signing off.